Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's great to be with you today. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025. We get together most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, to visit with our current and prospective resellers. In other words, our distribution partners who are looking to help others by improving their financial literacy and increasing access to capital. So today you'll see the shared screen and we have our agenda here on the right. We'll be taking some notes as we normally do. So if you're viewing on a small screen, I apologize in advance. It may be harder for you to keep up with, but we'll record this, put it on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to listen to it or view it afterwards. So, as a reseller, the first thing we want to make sure is if you've decided to become a reseller, which it doesn't cost anything, there's no contract to sign, there's no production requirements, there's no strings attached. But I just want to make sure if you are a reseller, are you open for business? So, what should have happened is, well, you can become a reseller on 509pacific.org, our nonprofit website. Little form there to let us know you're interested, and then we send you an email. That's the onboarding email. So there's not a contract for you to sign. There's no strings attached for you. So with that being said, that onboarding email had a couple attachments, and one of those attachments is the editable client agreement, the Shelf Corp agreement. Because as a reseller, what you're doing is you're contracting with the client directly, you're setting the price, and then we're doing the fulfillment. So with that, before we get to the state director role, which is a big discussion, let's talk about this gas can for a moment because it's maybe distracting. But if you can understand what purpose a gas can serves, I think you can do a really great job of explaining to anyone how shelf corps work. So let's go out of order for a moment because, again, if you're to be open for business, that means that you're ready to help people and make money. And if you're not effective in describing what a shelf corp does, then you probably won't have anyone enrolling, you won't make any money. So let's go out of order for a moment. We're going to draw some analogies between selling a gas can and selling a fundable shelf corp. So, but let's look at this gas can first. So first of all, what website are we on? We are on Walmart's website. So when you think of Walmart, you might not think about, oh, gas cans. Walmart sell lots of different products, but one of the items that they sell is a gas can. So now let's draw an analogy to you as a reseller. I realize that you may be an accountant, you may be an attorney, you may be a credit repair professional, you may be a banker. There may be other things that you do, other goods or services that you offer. But just like Walmart has not decided to only sell gas cans, you can offer Shelf Corps as one of your revenue streams. Well, why does Walmart sell gas cans? Because some people need gas cans, and we'll get into that in a moment. So some people need shelf corps, which we'll further describe as well. So the first point I want to bring up is I think successful entrepreneurs recognize a diversified income makes sense. Walmart didn't say, well, I'm not going to sell any bananas or hot dogs or paper towels. I'm only going to go all in on gas cans. No, the gas can is just one of their offering. So you may have these dreams and visions that you have entrepreneurial pursuits, but if you're not yet able to monetize those, you could offer a new revenue stream. You could sell gas cans like Walmart does. You could sell Shelf Corps as a reseller. So it's not all or nothing. That's maybe the first important lesson. So let's take, oops, and my cursor in the wrong spot. Thought it was there. All right, so lessons from the gas can analogy. First, it isn't all or nothing. Because you can look, I was talking to Herman yesterday, and Herman's a great guy. He drives for Lyft and Uber. both. He bought a Suburban and he drives for both. So Herman report, and these are his numbers, not mine. He reports that he works about 18 hours a day. Now he's not always driving. Sometimes he's waiting for the next drive to be dispatched. And he makes around $300 a day working 18 hours a day. So he's now going to become a reseller because it's not all or nothing. Now, he has aspirations to own real estate and do all these different things, but the first point is it's okay to diversify. So, okay to diversify. Now, second, let's go back to the gas can. Does Walmart make these gas cans? They don't. No, they're buying them from some company called Midwest Can. So, what is Walmart? Walmart is a reseller. Walmart doesn't grow bananas. They don't make gas cans. They're a reseller. So, what's the second lesson that we need to pull from this? There is big money in being a reseller. There's many different things you could resell, right? You could resell insurance, you could resell products on Amazon, you could resell fundable shelf corps. So some of you, I think, have been hesitant to really engage because you don't identify that selling shelf corps is really your primary revenue stream. Well, it could be an adjunct revenue stream. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Now, let's get into pricing a little bit. I want to talk about the price of this gas can. So, Walmart sells this gas can for $17.97, or you can get a 2-pack for $35. So, let's talk about pricing of gas cans and pricing of the shelf corp. Is this a good price for this gas can? Is it a fair price? How would you come to that conclusion? And we've got 758 of you on. So if you could type into the text, it's like a question and answer, like a text box, a chat box. How would Walmart decide how much to sell this gas can for, or a 2-pack? How do you think they came up with their pricing? Because that could be an important lesson for you as a reseller of a shelf corp of how should you set your pricing. All right, Darius brings up a good point. When it comes to pricing, the first thing that you want to know is what's your cost. So if Walmart can't buy this gas can for less than $18, I'll round off, then it's not a good decision, right? Because they would be losing money on every gas can. Now, of course, there's things like loss leaders just to get people to come in. They could look at what other people are selling gas cans for. But regardless, this is the price as of this morning, a live feed from Walmart's website. It is the price. If you're going to be a reseller, let's get to our next point here on pricing. You pick how much the client pays for the shelf corp. You pick it. I don't pick it. No one else picks it. Client doesn't pick it. You pick what the price is. Now, just like Walmart, just like Darius said, as well as Rodney, Donald, Yaman, a number of you said, yeah, you need to determine what markup you need to be profitable, but also to motivate. I was talking to a gentleman right before the Zoom. He was having trouble logging on. And I don't think that you can come back to us and say that there's not enough economic incentive because you control what the price is. Some of you are selling the shelf corp at cost on the front end and just making money off the back end. Some of you are marking it up 5,000. Some of you are marking it up a lot more than that. That's up to you. But as a reseller, you control pricing. But now we're going to talk about price and cost and value a little bit differently. So we're not going to go back and say, is this a fair price? This is the price. You either like it or you don't buy it, right? But what's the value of this trash can? I'm getting more to the important part of our discussion. What is the value of this trash can? We have Danielle on here, and she's a wonderful, wonderful woman, and she's a mother and wife. Let's say that Danielle's driving her children to soccer practice and her car runs out of gas. How much is this gas can worth to Danielle if she's stranded beside of the road with her kids waiting to go to soccer practice? Well, it's probably worth a lot more than $18. That doesn't mean that Walmart's going to gouge her, but the value of something is often what you're going to use it for, not just its cost. Because frankly, probably no one in the world wants a gas can. What would you want? You'd want the transportation of the content. You'd want the gas inside of it. So my point is, as we think about, let's go to point number 4, the value of a shelf corp is its utility. So it's what you can accomplish with it. Now let's take Ben on here. Ben owns a Tesla. I think Ben owns 4 Teslas. So what's the value to Ben of this gas can? Next to nothing, right? Unless he needs it for his lawnmower. So the value of the gas can really is dependent upon what you're going to use it for, its utility. The value of a shelf corp that you and I offer is really based upon what we're going to help the client accomplish. And I think some of you are missing that point when you're talking to prospects. You're selling a shelf corp. You're selling a shelf corp. I don't think you should sell a shelf corp. I think you need to explain to the client how the shelf corp is going to help them accomplish what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. So in Danielle's perspective, she's just trying to get her kids to soccer practice. Maybe it's Bernard. Bernard says, well, I want to load up my new Ferrari and I want to drive to Key West, Florida. So the utility of the shelf corp is what you should be emphasizing, not, oh, wouldn't you like to buy a shelf corp? Now it's going to get a little bit more complicated. If you go back and look at this gas can, what does this gas can in itself do for the customer? I would argue nothing, because it's an empty gas can. What in the world is the value of an empty gas can? It's the contents. It's the ability to put gas or fuel into it and transport it from where it is available to where it's needed, right? So we need to get to the 5th point here, which is the real value of a shelf corp is what is included to accomplish the utility. Because I've had a number of people come to us and say, well, we price shelf corps way too high. And again, you pick the price, but you can go buy a shelf corp for $1,000. So why in the world would someone buy a shelf corp from you or from us for a multiple of that? Because the value isn't the shelf corp, it's the value of what's in it, what's included. So let's say instead of Danielle going to Walmart and spending $18 to get an empty gas can, what if she was able to buy this gas can full of fuel to put in her car because she's ran out of gas alongside the road in this analogy? Oh my God, it's worth a lot more, right? It's worth exponentially more, because the point is we need to provide the client what they need to accomplish their goals. When you and I talk about fundable shelf corps, that's much different. So let's even add that adjective. What you and I offer are fundable shelf corps, not just a shelf corp, because I would acknowledge you can go get a shelf corp that's not fundable for a fraction of what you and I offer. But what has it accomplished, right? If you go buy an empty gas can, is that going to help Danielle get her kids to soccer practice? It's not. It's a start, but it's the contents of the gas can that makes a difference. So let's dig into the contents. So with a fundable shelf corp, we provide essentially everything that's needed for funding. So it includes the entity, which of course is in the name of the client, both at the federal and state level. It includes the documentation like the business plan, the financials, and those are all nice to have. But what it also includes is, I'm going to put it in all caps, collateral. It actually includes 100,000 of collateral. Let's create some space here. Well, why is that a big deal? If you want to borrow money for a business, traditional loans, so we're not talking about business credit cards or merchant cash advances, there's exceptions, but in just normal business financing, lenders want to see collateral. They want to see collateral. We do a lot of work with Chase Bank, for example. We have personal contacts that we're able to use for our clients at Chase Bank. One of the offerings we've been doing frequently are lines of credit. Lines of credit are great for clients, right? You're able to pull from it when you need it. When you don't need it, you don't pull from it. You only pay interest when you're pulling from it. Lines of credit are a great part of an overall funding portfolio. But even with lines of credit, more and more lenders are wanting to see the collateral. The collateral is what protects the lender in case the borrower doesn't pay it back. So going back to the Danielle analogy, we're not selling Danielle an empty trash can, a gas can, not trash can, gas can. We're selling her a gas can that's loaded with premium fuel that's going to allow her to get to where she needs to go. And so if you're out just selling a shelf corp, you're probably making a mistake because a lot of people, they don't understand the contents and the relevance of the contents. Now, there's more contents than that to the shelf corp, the fundable shelf corp. We're also providing free credit assistance because some people haven't managed their credit. Everyone has an excuse. We're not judging anyone. But when it comes to funding, what do you know? And I guess we can just reference the 3 C's. There's 3 C's when it comes to business funding: credit, collateral, and capacity. Capacity means same thing as cash flow. We provide all of that. So in other words, we're providing Danielle not just the gas can, but also the fuel that's in it to get to her destination. Now, that can be misinterpreted as too good to be true, so we're going to dial it back a little bit. We need to understand iterations. Hopefully I spelled that correct. When you and I sell a shelf corp to a client, it is set up and ready to be fundable for $100,000. $100,000. Now, so when you buy this gas can, it's 5 gallons, right? So if Danielle says, "Oh, no, I want 10 gallons," then this is not the right right gas can for her. Our fundable shelf corps are set up ready to go for funding for $100,000. So what do you do? I was talking to a lovely couple out of Chicago. They're wanting to be our state directors for Illinois, and we're going to come back and talk about state directors in a moment. But their comment, so we were talking yesterday on Sunday, and their concern is, well, a lot of their clients want more than 100,000. They want lots more. So will the shelf corp work? I would ask you to help the client understand the concept, and maybe we'll get rid of iterations. Let's go in tranches. Tranches of funding. No matter where Danielle wants to go, this gas can is only going to give her 5 gallons of gas. No one's misleading her. But it will get her far enough along that then she can get to the gas station, fill up, and fill up her minivan with 30 gallons. The Shelf Corp gets us that first to the gas station. It gets us that first 100,000. The Shelf Corp does not come ready for $1 million or 5 million. We've got a client, a deal is his name. He wants 50 million. So it's okay if clients have larger capital goals. We can help them with that, but we don't want to mislead them. The Shelf Corp is like getting Danielle to the gas station. We're going to be able to get any client. We guarantee it's in writing. We promise it in writing. We're going to get any client the first 100,000. And then at that point, we can sit down with them. They're happy, right? Because we've delivered what we've promised. You've made your money. They've got what they were promised. And now we can work with them to say, okay, how much more gas do we need to get to Boston or to Seattle or to Kansas City? Because it's going to be a different answer, right? It's going to be probably more. Not meaning that they'll need to buy another Shelf Corp. It's just now the 3 C's that are needed to get a larger amount are going to vary. And so people will ask, well, how much is that going to cost? I don't know. It depends. Like, so for instance, let's take Corinthian. So Corinthian says, okay, great. I'll buy a gas can and that'll get me to the gas station. But how much more gas am I going to need to buy when I get to the gas station? And our answer would be, I don't know. Because we're going to have to work with Corinthian of, well, where are you trying to go? And then what's your mileage? For example, we bought a couple company cars and we're big believers that, frankly, each of you should have a company car, but clients should as well, because it adds a big trade line that helps clients qualify for more. I'm digressing a bit. But my company car, G63, nothing to brag about, but it's a Mercedes G63. It gets like 10 miles to the gallon, right? So how much more gas would I need? It would depend upon what am I driving, where am I going? But I think many of you are losing deals. Let's just get them from where they're at to the next stop, to the gas station. Let's get them a Shelf Corp. Let's get them the gas can full of fuel. Let's get them that first 100,000. So we've delivered what we've promised. You get paid handsomely. Then we can work with them on what they need to get from there to their end goal. Sell them the Shelf Corp first. Don't oversell it. It is what it is. Just like here, there's a summary that Walmart puts on their website. What do you get when you buy this gas can? I don't know why I want to say trash can. This is what you get with the gas can. It's not a scam. It's not too good to be true. It's an empty gas can that has limited utility. What we're selling is a filled gas can, a fundable Shelf Corp. Make sense? So even if a client has higher capital raise goals, put it in perspective. We're going to help you get from where you're at to the gas station. You're going to have a fundable business, and then we're going to be able to then work with you to get the rest of the way. Now, let's talk about pricing a little bit more. Let's say that Danielle came to us and you and I work at Walmart and she wants to buy the gas can. And we say, well, Danielle, we got a deal. I'll sell you this gas can, Danielle. It's priced fairly. We'll fill it up with fuel, and then you go put the gas in your car, and then we'll refund the entire amount, Danielle. We will refund the price you paid for the gas can full of fuel. You don't have to pay us anything. That's literally the analogy that you and I are offering for the Shelf Corps, right? Because Shelf Corps do, oh, hit an extra button there. Let's see if it comes back. Due to the grant are 100% free. Now you got to understand the process. We didn't tell Danielle, come into Walmart, we'll give you a free gas can full of fuel. We said, Danielle, you come in, you buy the gas can, we'll fill it with fuel, and then we will, as a secondary step, we'll refund it. It's a refundable deposit. If you've ever leased an apartment, you've had a refundable deposit. So you pay up front and then you get it back when you've satisfied the criteria, the requirements. So with our Shelf Corps, because of the grant, we're giving them a shelf corp. Now they're going to pay for it, and then they're going to get refunded up to 15,000. If you charge more than 15,000, then we have a bit of an issue. They're looking at raising that cap, by the way. So with that, then also $0 out of pocket. So that doesn't mean it's free. We don't want to wrongly associate free with $0 out of pocket. So with Danielle, I think she could come over and buy this, and let's see, and finance it if they have financing available. But a lot of companies now, they have financing at exit, where you can use these different point of sale financing companies and finance it. But I don't know if Walmart's going to offer financing on this or not, but let's see if they will. Let's hit add. And let's go to the cart. Let's see if it'll give us a chance to finance it. Continue to check out. Slowly. So the point is with you and I, the Shelf Corp isn't free up front. They're going to pay for it. It's going to come with $100,000 of collateral. Oh, I guess it wants to sign in, so we went too far on that. And then the client will finance the purchase of the Shelf Corp. You will get paid. We'll deliver the Shelf Corp. Takes us normally about 7 days to get all the deliverables to them. And then we'll be able to go to funding. Once they've bought the Shelf Corp and gone to funding, then we reimburse it. So that's important to understand, because the grant we received, it's measuring outcomes. So the client will, if you're a reseller and you're open for business, you'll have an editable client agreement. You will have taken our information off. You'll put yours on. You'll set pricing the way you want it. Client will sign up. Then we'll send them a finance app. We'll copy you on the finance app. They'll get their finance offers. And then with the finance offers, then they'll pick the offers they want. They'll want to accept at least enough to pay you for the Shelf Corp based upon whatever your price is. Often they'll be able to get more for working capital, or is what Carrie likes to call fund money. And then we'll deliver the Shelf Corp to them. With the Shelf Corp delivered to them, then now they have all the contents. They have the gas can and the fuel in the gas can. So we're able to get them to their first stop, which is 100,000. If they want to go further, they want more than 100,000, then that's fine. Then we'll work with them to go from that stop to the next. But at that point, it's going to probably require more gas, right? They're going to use the gas they have to get to that first stop. It's going to probably require more gas. Now, maybe they have enough resources, but we'll get to that later. All right, so with the gas can, what's a gas can worth? It depends upon your need. For Danielle, being stuck alongside the road, it's worth a lot, but it's worth an infinite amount more if it has fuel in it. You and I are not delivering empty shelf corporations, not shells, not just an entity in its a name only. It literally has the contents needed to go to funding to help people with their 3 C's. There is a price for the Shelf Corp, but you pick what that price is. With the grant, it actually is free in the end because we're reimbursing the client the full amount. So with that being said, let's get back to our state director role. So we're growing quickly. Things are good, but we have we have over 300 resellers now. So we simply need to have kind of a mid-level point of contact, because a lot of these resellers are chatty and some are productive and some aren't. So we're looking simply for one state director per state. There's no cost. So we're not trying to sell you a franchise. There's no cost to be a reseller, and there's no cost to be a state director. But we're looking for a leader of this for each state. The state director role will be the leader in the state, and they will be compensated overrides on all the resellers. So let's go ahead and break that down because it's very lucrative if you understand it. So let's first talk about reseller comp, and then we'll describe state director comp, meaning compensation, right? So how do resellers get paid? They get paid up front based upon the markup of the shelf corp. So just like Walmart, they make money up front on however much more they sell the gas can for than what they paid Midwest. So most of you are charging $15,000 for the shelf corp, which is great. Clients don't have any out of pocket. We get financing for that. So most of you are making $5,000 profit up front. Some of you are more active than others, but the average reseller is doing a deal a day, 20 a month. So it's a side income, right? It's not the type of money that Belzoni is used to making. It's not the type of money that France is used to making, but an extra 5,000 a day, 25,000 a week, 100,000 a month. Not so bad. But that's really the smaller part of the comp for the reseller. Remember, we're going to talk about the reseller comp, and then we'll get to your comp as a state director. The resellers also make 5% of each client's capital raise. Well, if you know that the client's guaranteed at least 100,000, which they are, it's in writing, you're going to make at least another 5,000 back end. But of course, many clients want more than 100,000. We can help them raise more. The 5% continues to whatever it is. So if they raise $1 million, then you're getting 50,000 on the back end, right? It just depends on their capital raise. So that's how resellers are paid. That's not really the point, but it's a good side income. Now, how are state directors paid? The same. The override is the same. So if you, let's say Prelo is the state director of Georgia, great. He'll be managing a team of resellers. Why is that good for us? Because we don't have enough time to support all of these resellers. Some of you are great and you're just producing. Some want a lot of hand-holding. We have one reseller that likes to call us every morning. She'll drink a cup of coffee. She'll go into the restroom and she'll call us. And she likes to use that bathroom time to chat with us. We're out of bandwidth. So we're going to have state directors. You can decide who you want as resellers, who you want to work with. If you don't want to talk to the bathroom lady, you don't have to. But you'll be paid the same. So each time one of your resellers sells a shelf corp, the reseller will make 5,000. You'll make 5,000. For each of those shelf corps, the reseller on your team will make 5%. You'll make the same. So it's simple. It's not complicated. You make the same. So from an override perspective, it's freaking crazy good. Now, who are we looking for state directors? Producers, right? Because why would we want a state director that is not active, that's not able to close shelf corps? Because then what would you probably do? You'd probably build a team of people that are inactive that don't sell either. That would be horrible. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to be a state director is show that you're qualified. Go sell some shelf corps, because then we could feel comfortable that you could help other people do the same. It's funny, I have a number of people that are coming to us saying, I want to be a state director, and we look at their production and it's like 0 or next to 0. Well, we need to correct that, right? So here we are today, March 24th. We've got about a week left of the month. If you want to be a state director, you got to go close at least 2 deals this week. I mean, 1 a day would be better because you're going to be the example for your resellers. And of course, you want your resellers to follow your example because you're making an income match off what they're making. So what I'd say is if you're interested in being a state director, show you're qualified. Go do a deal a day this week. 5 deals. Can't get to 5, at least 2. Because if you can't produce, how are you going to lead others to convince them to produce, which you have an incredible economic incentive for? So that's the first step. You've got today, we're rolling it out today, Monday, March 24th. Every state is open. I have a number of you texting or communicating in Zoom. Is Pennsylvania open? Is Florida open? Every state's open right now. So let's call this week your qualification period. What can you produce this week? We have a lot of people that are really smart, really nice people, but they're full of fucking excuses. Well, I would sell, but I've got a freckle on the head of my penis. Whatever your excuse is, I don't care. If you want to be a state director, you've got to produce. And so you're in qualification period right now. As of Monday, March 24th, 2025, 8:35, show us what you can do for the next week. And if you can produce, then we'll sit down and we'll start allocating this role. There's no cost, there's no strings attached. Now, it's not a lifetime appointment, right? So you might be the state director of Illinois starting April 1st. That would be great. So yeah, it'll kick in and you'll be making lots of money. But if you're not producing for the state of Illinois in that example, come May 1st, you might not be in that role anymore because we need producers. We need producers. Leonidas is on, and he's one of the smartest guys. I love talking to Leonidas. And Leonidas is an example of a guy, he didn't sell anything. Smart, smart, smart. So maybe this will be motivation for you, Leonidas, and others. Go deliver if you want to be a state director. But it's real simple, the comp plan. All right, so we ran a little bit long, but we were off last week for spring break, so hopefully that's okay. Our nonprofit phone number, it's on 509 Pacific, but you can call. Madison will normally answer. If not, leave a message and she'll get back with you. Client placement program really isn't the topic today, but if you're not good at developing your own clients, we have clients that need to be worked. You can let us know and we can transfer current contracted fundable clients to you. Not really the point today. Quick cash, also not the point, but it's a resource if you need quick cash. If you're not a reseller, you want to become one, or a state director, but you've got to start with being a reseller before you can be a state director, because this is a leadership role. All right, Justin's asking where to find resellers, and I'll tell you right now, and this is going to be a contrarian response, but there's an organization that I'm going to type on here, and I'll tell you exactly where to find the best resellers to be on your team as soon as my computer catches up. It's trying. It's trying. So I'll have America's, damn it, slow. America's SBDC. I saw it. Why am I struggling? Okay, so there's been recent press about President Trump reducing the size of government. I'm not political, nor are we political, but they're slashing budgets and slashing jobs. One department is called the SBA. We've all heard of the SBA. I used to work for the SBA in this division. So the Small Business Development Centers are offices across the country that are funded by the SBA, and usually they are linked with a local college. So, for example, you can go to America's SBDC, which you saw me struggle there. They have SBDCs all across the country. If we go to 75703, that should pull up where I used to work, which is the Tyler SBDC. So you can put in your zip code. So you can find local SBDCs across the country. These people are good people. They're competent. They'd be great resellers, and they already have clients. What they're not doing is making much money. These people make in a year what you and I make in a month, right? So they're making less than 10% of what we make. So this is my old boss, Don Proudfoot. He's been there like 30 years. Smart guy. I don't think he ever liked me, but he's my former boss. He makes around $75,000 a year. He's got relationships with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of small businesses. You could go hire Don Proudfoot to work for you, and he could make you $1 million a month alone. Kay's great. She's the secretary. Great, so she wouldn't be as powerful. Brad was my peer. He's a former executive director of a different location, but he moved to work for Don because of his elderly father. He's an ex-bank examiner. What's my point? You can go to America's SBDC and find these locations across the country. And you can literally hire these people because a lot of these people are about to lose their government job, and you can pay them exponentially more than what they made. Because again, most of these people make in a year what you and I make in a month. So you can easily help them increase their income. They can bring banker relationships, they can bring client relationships. So it's not the only place to build out your reseller team if you're a state director, but that is one area. So americassbdc.org, find your SBDC, and we could look elsewhere. So let's just look in Illinois, for example. And there's going to be a couple. So there's the statewide one, which you could hire those people as well, but it's these local centers. And so you could find local centers and go to any of their websites. Let's just say this one that's at the College of DuPage, click on it. It's going to pop up here in a minute, hopefully. And so you'll see who works at that local location. These are the people, if you're looking to hire a team and build a team of resellers, you could look wherever you want. But these people have the relationships with the local bankers. So you could go hire Eileen Kelly. You could hire Colleen Saul. You could go hire Monica Hernandez. You could go hire David. He's a handsome guy. Doug, great smile. So if you're looking for resellers, you could either hire these folks as W-2 employees. That's because these people are normally not very much risk takers, right? They understand small business, but they're normally not risk takers because they've taken government jobs. So these folks, you would set up a W-2 package. If you set them up on 100,000 base and heavy incentive, I think they'd all come to work for you. So do you have to do that? No, but these are the types of people you would have on your team as a state director. Because Eileen Kelly, I guarantee you, she not only could bring in a deal a day, she could bring in 5 deals a day. Eileen Kelly could literally bring you 100 deals a month. Let's go back to that comp model. So if you hired Eileen, let's move her pretty picture there. So Eileen is now what, however you want to pay her. But if you're going to set her up as a reseller on your team, she would be making her 5,000 for each deal. You're making the same. She's making her back end. You're making the same. So sure, you could go find some stay-at-home mom or some recently released felon to be a reseller. Anyone can be a reseller, but with the government reducing staff positions, and these are smart, educated people that make a fraction of what you and I make, you can get them on your team. But they're not risk takers. They're government employees, right? So they're going to normally want W-2 security. All right, with that being said, we've covered a lot. We've ran way long. I apologize. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Again, we're looking for state directors. Every state is open. How do you qualify? Produce. This week's your qualification period. Go out and produce. But if you can't close at least 2 deals this week, you're not ready to be a state director, right? Whatever excuse you have. So go produce, let us know, and we'll start filling out the state director positions in April. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Give us a call if you need anything. Have a great day. Bye.